Yo, what is up, YouTube? So we're gonna have a little Q&A as always. I'm getting a few different stuff. I'm trying to basically. It's been super busy, so I haven't been able to make proper videos. So basically, want to still offer my services doing the old Q&A show, and yeah, we'll see how we do. Got some Field Monitor headphones to review from HD Field Monitor, which is going to be nice. So it's like in-ear monitor, but only single. So it's great for those people with their G3s and that kind of thing. But otherwise, you hopefully know the score by now in terms of getting the old questions in, and then hopefully I can give you some sort of feedback and answers. But what I've been up to so far is a lot of traveling. Travel to Geneva, travel to France, Paris, and Versailles. Shooting for US Doc and a couple of other things, a couple of Stormzy videos, and all sorts of things. Trying to get my Instagram game back up. And yes, as Alejandro pointed out, England, thank God, got through. And whether you like, whoever you support, this World Cup has been super intense. And obviously, I don't want to make this whole show about all of that, but I'm just thankful that England have like not been one of the major teams that have already been knocked out. So feel pretty proud that now, because naturally we're very self-deprecating and think we're always going to go out, even though we spend lots of money on our players. Yeah. Anyway, but this is a sound show. This is Q&A. So a couple of things I want to get off the bat, just because they're relevant to the last couple of things that also producers have asked me, is things like Carne within the EU. Not so important. Carne is usually outside, especially outside of the US to anywhere else. And also, I would recommend it. Basically, if you go anywhere outside of the EU or at least mainland Europe, to do a Carne, which is basically where you write your serial numbers down. And again, you can find all the information just searching in YouTube. What is Carne sound rolling? And you should be able to find the video on that. So I've only had to do Carnes for things like Morocco. But otherwise, within Central Europe, it's been pretty good. Oh, getting super tired. So doing a nice shoot for Microsoft tomorrow as well. And yeah, kicking into a bit of a holiday. It's definitely been busy. And yeah, then getting prep for a feature that I have to do in July. But unfortunately, the money isn't great enough to also have a boom op. But it's playing that right. It's playing the balance of trying to do. I was basically trying to make sure that I could do a good enough job, otherwise I wasn't going to do it. And so they offered me basically enough money for me to do it, but not to have a boom op that I would feel comfortable firstly hiring for like such a low amount, because it's only 3 weeks, and this is a lot of stuff that not a lot of people obviously talk about. The jobs that they want to take that obviously satisfy them in terms of their value, but not necessarily with a boom op. And I'm not the type of person to get someone on for free all the way on a shoot, or even get a boom op all the way on the shoot. I think it's kind of disrespectful almost in that regard. So so even though Alejandro would fly over, yeah, it's just not worth it. So because I'm not doing the post production and they know what I've said on the outset, I feel that it's basically fine. It's yeah, it's gonna be good enough. I've had a good enough chat, and again, if they I guess quote unquote like fuck me over, then they're fucking themselves over, and so that's just what they have to take into consideration. Still, fortunately or unfortunately, in the kind of definitely the micro budget. Although I just did a US doc, which was very interesting. Where again, I didn't need a boom up because there's literally only one camera person doing everything. There was a second camera just getting close up shots, but because of the nature of it, it was super fast and crazy. I like that kind of shooting, and yeah, so it's been pretty good. And lots of flying around. Getting a tan on the top and not on the bottom of my face is slightly awkward, to say the least. But yeah, how can I help you? Basically, just right in the comments somewhere. And yeah, then I'll hopefully be able to quote unquote drop some knowledge, or at least what I've experienced so far, which is kind of the main thing. I'm doing a cool little review soon for timecode systems release, but more for timecode for DSLRs. But still, could be very, very interesting. So look forward to that. Otherwise, just dropping one of my 600 videos every couple of days on Instagram TV. So you can check me out at Sound Rolling. And for all of you watching now, get some questions in. Whether you want more work, like what are you trying to achieve? The whole point of this is actually not to be so generic. The generic is just the start until people are kind of tuning in, and then it's all about you. So, Gabe, what do you recommend for traveling boom poles, like when you got to fly out to location? So, I actually have a cover for mine, and it is all about who you fly with. I've done a couple of videos on this, so you can search like traveling with boom poles, Sound Rolling on YouTube, and find those specific videos. But in the 2 times in like the last week and a bit that I've flown to 2 different countries, having them in hand luggage has been fine. As long as they're not like in your hand, then it's been fine. They've been in like their own kind of bag, and they've kind of been included in the hand luggage. So I've had a backpack with obviously my batteries in, which can't travel underground, like under the plane, because they're lithium ion. Then I've had the strap on my shoulder, and no one's said anything explicitly like that is definitely 2 pieces, blah blah blah. The other times that I've traveled, they have said that basically the boom being made of carbon fiber is acceptable, because if it was made of steel or aluminium, then it's basically more likely to be a weapon. So that's another thing to consider. Not only having a carbon fiber boom pole is practical in terms of weight, but also a safety aspect for the aviation community. So yeah, I've had them in their kind of own little bag. I haven't obviously brought like a drama pole or anything. I think mine only goes to like 3 meters. And as Greg points out, K-Tech make a boom pole case, and K-Tech also make boom poles which have a lot more sections but can fit into a Peli case. I just choose to carry mine separately and also not stow it, just because the likelihood of it getting lost or stuck on an elevator or something is just, yeah. I just prefer to carry it. No one said anything. And if people do ask me, I just say that the people at the desk told me to just take it through because it's a lot easier. And because it's in its own padded bag, again, the safety aspect comes in of it just being more useful. So, yeah. So, Alejandro, I read something about Audio Limited with recording capabilities of their wireless. What do you know about that? So, Audio Ltd make packs that are already ready to record. And in terms of the US market, basically, in the US, you're going to be able to accept line level inputs into that in terms of utilizing the LTD wireless recording capabilities. So I don't know if this is like a fiddly thing of being able to get your boom with a phantom bomb, then up to line level into the wireless to make it a wireless, but also recording hops, to kind of get around the Zaxcom thing. I don't know. Because again, Zaxcom painting wars with being able to, they've kind of locked it down in terms of being able to have both record and transmit. And so that's where we saw the Lectrosonics PDR, which can only transmit or only record. And so this is both Sound Devices and Audio Ltd's way of kind of getting closer to being able to both transmit and record. I mean, I do not work for any of these companies and no one tells me anything. So you definitely can't take my word for anything. Although obviously Zaxcom will take some of my videos and use them in their testimony as they have previously. So it's very, very interesting. And it obviously makes sense from a traditional old world perspective of the classic, like, I have a job until I'm 220 and then that's it. The same with the patent wars kind of mentality of like, I made the chair first, I'm going to hold on to this chair thing as long as possible until basically now everyone makes chairs, and chairs now become very, very kind of commoditized, but then also premium. You can still buy very expensive chairs. So that's kind of my weird analogy for the Zaxcom mentality, which makes a lot of sense legally, but in the long run, I don't know. Maybe people will get slightly bitter about that whole model. I think people generally will, knowing that they're connected to the internet. But that is just my 2 cents, and I wish they'd invite me to court. That'd be great. I'd love to speak about this. Have a get outside of this bedroom. Although we have just changed our bedroom around, so yeah, it's fun to see who watches my videos. So, Alejandro, are you going to review the Deity S Mic 2 soon? I am, whenever they're going to send it to me. I've tried to talk to them. They said they would. They said they'd even send me a Deity shirt, and I was going to try and wear that in some videos as well. But alas, nothing has happened yet. So that is that. So for the 6 people that are watching this, you guys are very important to me. Just 6 people. That's what it's all about. So let me know your questions about anything. Getting more work, how to do Instagram, why you should make content yourself. Thankfully, I feel like I've been a bit of a force for making lots of other people wake up to this kind of whole scenario. But I think everyone that is watching this right now, you should be making sound content of your own, whether you're right, whether you're wrong, and the whole industry is actually going to do better, even though at the time, and probably for the next 5 to 10 years, they're not going to care about you at all. So I'm just throwing that out there as a piece of advice. Start making it yourself. It will actually pay you massive dividends. Greg, wonder when the Zaxcom patent expires. I do not know, but obviously with the ongoing case going on, I think still with Lectrosonics, we will see. But I guess with yeah, ugh. I wonder what the difference is. I mean, obviously with drug patents, how long do patents last? They probably last 20 years, it says. So, I mean, I don't know when Zaxcom filed their patent, but the US patent thing is 20. Yeah, okay. Periodic fees required to maintain and enforce a patent, and a design patent is generally granted protection for 14 years, measured from the date the design patent is granted. So we're still looking at about 15 years, probably, I guess, and until everything is kind of unleashed, which is probably a better thing overall. But obviously, it is within Zaxcom's right to totally fight this, and this is what everyone else is trying to do. From obviously the strap wars to the time code wars. Although time code is definitely past 20 years. Yeah, the innovation standpoint is very, very interesting, and I totally get that. I think 20 years is a very long time in these times, but I guess that plays to the advantage of thinking of it first. So fair play to them. So did you see Chris Judd's video review on the S Mic 2? Although it was great, one thing I wish he would compare it to the 416. I did not, unfortunately. Curtis Judd has many more followers than me, and so is much more interesting than me by comparison. I've just been doing lots of live stuff and trying to drill into my community in terms of depth rather than width, and so that makes me less commercially viable, because I'm actually trying to help you guys on a one-on-one basis achieve whatever you want to achieve. I'm looking to get back into the more general stuff, but I would actually like this channel to stand out. And I think for me, the whole point is that I've always tried to be ahead of the curve. And Curtis Judd, for instance, going into DSLR and then into audio, it was just natural for him to be lighting an audio to separate him in the market, and that's the whole point. He did that. For me, I have gone through multiple phases of both just daily vlogging to like odd tips, and now I'm big on my live video thing. And now I've obviously still got the app. I'm still don't quite know what to do with the podcast, rehashing onto IGTV with my older content. So it's definitely a flow that I'm trying to always just see what is the next thing. And then next time I'm going to go hard into that thing, knowing that that is the actual future. So IGTV is coming up with quite a bit of spam at the moment, which is quite interesting. But also podcasts still up and coming. Right now, I'm still trying to hack into AI in terms of you just being able to talk to your phone, and it is basically all the answers that I have, but it's done through Google, or it's gone through like Arri Alexa. So you can just be like, okay, Google, ask map price sound rolling, like what is the Arri Alexa time code, and it will tell you. So I'm trying to always look ahead. Every time that I've figured something out, I've tried to go hard into it, and yeah, and then either try to work with companies who usually shoot me down, I guess because of differing values, or because I kind of just say everything how it is. But we'll kind of see. This is an ever evolving game, and as you've seen with lots of other people that have suddenly come up and they get lots of views and they get lots of subscribers, and then they just don't have the consistency. I'm trying to just basically make up the consistency with the one-on-one at the moment, by trying to just basically give the most value to the individual as opposed to the masses, which is a longer process. And so this is still going to pay off in like 5 to 10 years, but hopefully it is worth it. Craig Palmer, can you contrast and compare the 416 to the MKH60? Well, firstly, Greg, thank you for your question. MKH60. So, short shotgun. So, firstly, what I'll say off the bat is the 416 is cheaper. I would say it's always great to have a backup microphone. And just going based on the technical specs, super cardioid. Okay, and let's see what it says about the MKH 416. Let's see if it's the same thing, because it's £700. It's half the price. And technical specs. Yeah, it says it's the same thing. The impedance is more, which means it is more sensitive. The equivalent noise level is actually less on the 416. And the maximum sound pressure is more on the MKH60. Consumption is the same. Power supply is the same. Normal impedance, supercardioid RF condenser. And slightly shorter on the dimensions as well. So I would say, again, based on specs, I mean, it's probably recommended to test it out. But if it's £700 for one of them and it's a lot more money for the other, then that's probably where it's going to stick out. So, Alejandro, what do you recommend as a good soldering starter kit? I'm going to start learning to repair my cables. That is a very good thing, and I haven't got into that yet. I've just bought any old soldering iron. And apparently, Technouba, Hako make great soldering irons. Carl, what's up? So yeah, I think it's all about comparing and contrasting soldering irons. I don't know how technical you need to be on them. I'm definitely a person that would prefer someone else made my cables. I really wish I could be bothered to make the time to then make cables, but I kind of feel that then I would get definitely obsessed with that and then try to make a cable business, and that's kind of what I don't want overall. So the Hako FX888D is apparently the one recommended by Technouber. So yeah, you can always try that. That is not a recommendation from me at all. So we're 20 minutes in. Give me the last couple of questions, and we'll round this off. And I'll try and do one tomorrow. Your aunt is going to teach you. Well, that's friggin' awesome. That your aunt knows how to solder. I wish I did as well. No more plane rides, indeed, Kyla. That is what it's all about. Just working in central London tomorrow, so should be alright. Although I need to charge some batteries now, I guess. So yeah, can I help you guys with anything else as we go deep instead of wide with the popularity of this video right now? I will also try and vary the time that I do these, because I understand that a lot of people will obviously be different time zones. Maybe I should try and do the odd one at like 4 in the morning and try and get people in at LA in the evening. So Technouber, hi Matt, what do you recommend for an intro shotgun mic for your boom pole? So I have a few recommendations, but it's all predicated on budget. In terms of an actual shotgun mic, something like the CMIT is obviously amazing. The DPA 41.7 is good. Usually with the C, I think is the shorter preamp. And what else? Otherwise, starting lower down, the Deity is super competitive against the NTG2. You can always get a second-hand 416, but be careful, just because of fake stuff in terms of being sold on eBay. So I guess it all depends on your budget. Give me a rough budget and I can tell you which one to get, and also the type of work that you're doing. Because obviously the ones with slightly high noise floor are really, really good for outside. But then if you're doing kind of interviews in a very quiet space, but you still need a shotgun to try and get rid of some reverb, then that's where you can come into issues. So Alejandro, I'm looking to get battery Intrepers for my G4s. What do you recommend? Interpreters? Is this in terms of basically being able to have it all powered from your mixer and just have emulators? In which case, I'm not too sure. I never run an emulator with my G3s. I just do double AAs. Oh yeah, interpreters. So yeah, in terms of interpreters, I'm not too sure. I literally don't have a problem with G3s just with two AAs. I would get one with a high MAH rating, and then I can put two AAs in one pack, and it will literally last me all day. But in terms of interpreters, I wouldn't be too sure. I'd try and look on something like Pink Noise, or around your local dealers and ask them. When I run everything off double AAs with a 2,500 mAh rating, and they literally just run really, really well. Technouber, $100 or less for a shotgun mic. Yeah, it's going to be very tough. I wouldn't like to recommend. I would say basically the more you pay, the better you get, especially in that ratio. So a lot of people are going to comment you on getting things like a Rode or even a Starter Deity mic. And so I wouldn't like to personally recommend, because I think my shotgun is like £3,000 at the moment. And I think even the MK416 is 700. So I don't think I can quite be unbiased in that recommendation. So sorry about that. Oh, you're looking for a mount. $100 for a mount. So yeah, maybe a mount for your shotgun. I mean, I'd be super tempted by getting a full kind of Rycott solution in terms of a super shield. I firmly swear by the super shield. It is probably a couple of $100 more, but then it's just literally going to last you forever. I think I got mine maybe 5 years ago, maybe more. And yeah, haven't looked back from the Superman just in terms of flexibility. Yeah, so even Sound Speeds recommends the Rycott Super Shield. Yeah, it's just awesome. It's just click on, click off. It's just going to be, yeah, super easy. So, yeah, trying to be fast. All right, awesome. So it's been like 25 minutes, but if anyone has any questions, then I will just keep going on this train and see if I can add some more value to everyone's lives doing sound. I need to get on so many things, but right now I'm kind of hot on Instagram. But as you know, I shall be on the next thing, and as soon as VR becomes applicable to everyone, I shall be the first person to do a sound show on VR, which will be a total failure, of course. But build a way for more pioneers in the field. So, yeah, if you have any more questions, let me know in the comments, because this is all about you and not about me. Thank God. And then tomorrow, I think it's just interviews and B-roll, which makes me yawn at the sight of it. But Kyle Sherling, Fave Lab setup, is a Sanken COS 11 in an RM11 in between a shirt, basically. Love it. And definitely going back and forth between the Rycott stickies and the Bumblebee stickies, I guess. I can't remember what they're called. That's why, again, when you're first is the most important. Rycott got there first with the term stickies, and so now I just call Bumblebee stickers. So, yeah, Bumblebee Invisilabs or something. Although Rycott did that as well. Rode did that, didn't they? So, yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yep, stickies are definitely very, very good. So, Greg Palmer, what rules do you use for antenna separation with multiple G3s? I try to spread them across my bag in terms of just the receivers. So I always start with one on the very left, one on the very right, and then with my Orca harness, I can clip one in the middle. Thankfully, now, because I obviously mainly use Electrosonics and I have an SL6, it's quite easy for me to actually just power everything straight through one Betso fin. And the one Betso fin allows me to just keep it very flat when I'm not using it, whip it up, point it the right direction for when I am, and then I can have the range that I need without kind of any issues in terms of that. Matt, do you ever use DPA lavs like the 4071s? I own 4071s at the moment. I have to say that once I got them, I tried to use them a lot of the time, and then I've slowly gone off them. I think even with, I'm potentially still waiting a bit more in my wireless game at the moment. I think next year I'm potentially looking to either leap to the 1010s, and I'm even looking to reach and get new labs such as the 4061s or even the slim versions of those as well. Just because I want to hold off for now. I think it's going to be very interesting in the wireless game in general, and so I'd rather not have to re-terminate everything. And everything's working for me right now with the COS 11s. With the 71s, not so keen overall. I just like the versatility of the COS 11s in terms of the versatility of just being able to make them a clip-on versus hiding under shirt versus whatever. There's some voices where they're very, very deep, which it's very nice for the 71s to have that natural high cut. Or no, more like female voices have the natural high cut. And they have a bit more presence, but it's it's just not. I'm just not feeling at the moment the need to be super adventurous with it. So actually sticking with COS 11s at the moment, I actually run mainly white labs as well, which I never thought I would. But quite a lot of the people that I end up miking have white shirts, and so even if, for instance, I have a white RM11 on a black shirt, I can actually use some Ursa tape. So yeah, it's pretty good. And I know the 4071 was built to go underneath to hide under shadow, under shadowing. But when I've put the 4071s underneath, I kind of feel that they almost get even more bass. And it's because it's usually so close to someone like me talking right now. They've taken off the high end, which is obviously, oh no, they've boosted the high end to try and get through the clothing. But for some reason, it just comes off as a bit more muddy for me, personally. And so I'm generally trying, and yeah, I've got the concealers that came with it originally. So yeah, I do like the concealers though. The concealers were very easy to work with, but even though they're trying to do this thing of overcoming the shadowing, I kind of feel that it's got a weird EQ on it. But these days, to be honest, I'm literally trying. Like, if I'm very happy with the boom, then I'm kind of fine if the mic is a bit muddy in terms of the radio mic. So I'm kind of playing that risky game. So yeah. And then obviously the versatility of the COS 11 being able to be clipped on is super useful. As opposed to if I clip on a 4071, then boom, it's yeah, way too high end and thin and crazy. So Kyle Sterling, thoughts on stock Lectro Lav mics for people getting higher Lav packages? I did not know that Lectrosonics made stock Lectrosonics Lavs. To be honest, I literally just re-terminated my COS 11s. Because how I went is I went from my G3s, and then they had the basic package on there. Then I got COS 11s for my G3s, and then as soon as I got my Lectrosonics, then I got my COS 11s re-terminated for my Lectrosonics. And then I also got some DPAs, so it was that was kind of the way forward. Yeah. And booms are so much more natural for sure. Sound speeds. Yeah, so it's trying to work with that, especially interview situations where outside there's planes, there's all this kind of stuff. I'm nodding at the director and being like, yeah, that was bad for me, but do you really need the question? And they're kind of like, yeah, I probably need the question. Okay, let's hold for the plane. So yeah, we're trying to work it out that way. So yeah, it's a lot of back and forth, but I think really want to try and hold out this whole year without buying any new lavs, and I think then next year splurging on a package that's really going to be more future proof in terms of maybe going with the audio 1010s, or maybe even Zaxcom. Like, who knows? Everything's up. Lecture labs were included, so you'd have something to use with the transmitters when you bought them years ago. There you go. Though they haven't included them in years, to my knowledge. Exactly. When I bought my new Lectros, they didn't come with any lavaliers, so I think that is probably a bygone era. So yeah, I think I'm going to hold off. I've been saying it this whole year, and we're about halfway through the year so far, so I think I'm going to be able to hold off the rest of the year. If not, I will happily jump on the bandwagon of wherever. Not too convinced by Wizzycom. I had a few tries with them. And again, wide range is super, super cool, but I don't really use wide range that much. And even when I do, it's all coordinated frequencies. So I can always just rent them in. So it's also knowing your gear package. Sound speeds, yeah, we're talking 10 plus years ago before they had many options for labs. Yeah, exactly. I think if you get a COS 11 these days, as soon as you get it, like before you upgrade your wireless and you already have a G3, G4 kind of combo, then yeah, I'd try and get COS 11s or something like that. Alejandro, did any of the new Electro models come with lamps? I don't think so. I think you can maybe get deals where they come with Sanken COS 11s or they come with the DPAs, but I don't believe that they come with literally Electrosonic slabs. So yeah, it must be an older transmitter for sure. So yeah, yeah. See, they don't come with any, according to the comments right now. I'm trying to obviously remember that people are going to be watching this once it's finished recording. So Lectrosonics do not come with their own labs anymore. So I would recommend that even before you bought Lectrosonics, you bought something else because you probably couldn't afford it or probably shouldn't have been able to afford it because you didn't have enough clients, blah, 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 blah. And so you should naturally upgrade something like the Sanken COS 11 or the DPA 4061s and or the 4060s, and then be able to go from there. And no one knows, Alejandro. No one knows why Lectrosonics don't make them. But it's going to be very interesting, I think, as Sound Devices and Audio Ltd get together and Lectrosonics were kind of on with Sound Devices. It's going to be a very interesting year, definitely next year, in terms of who's with who, because it was DPA Lectrosonic Sound Devices, and now obviously it's Audio Ltd Sound Devices, and then maybe DPA. So maybe Lectrosonics getting the old squeeze. Not too sure. Again, no one tells me nothing. I'm just always offering my opinion and seeing what people say back to me. So that is that. Okay, well, this has gone on for like 36 minutes, and I doubt anyone is going to watch this all the way through. And because I am terrible at keeping up and getting all the questions involved, I'm just going to keep doing these Q&As until you get your individual answers. So apparently they still make them with new bundles. This is all getting very, very confusing, guys. And yeah, Deity will definitely do wireless, and I think they will definitely be a strong contender, or should be a strong contender to Rode. But I have a feeling that with Rode's marketing budget and basically cleverness to get Rick Veers involved, they won't be so smart or so quick to get influencers involved that are actually doing the kind of stuff that they want to market to. I kind of feel that they're going for a mid-range stuff, and so they're going to lose people. They're going to lose people that actually want to aspire to the high, which is going to be very disappointing, I think. But yeah, let's end this here. It's been about 40 minutes. I will try and be on tomorrow and answer your individual questions. Otherwise, leave a comment below, and you can always reach me on Instagram and that kind of jazz. So until later, I will see you